Hi there, Facebook friends. This is William. I'm at the Rusty's Custard Factory on the main street in Norman, Oklahoma. It's Sunday, about 10 minutes till 2 p.m. on Central Time. And I just wanted to stop in and visit just a little bit about the NEAT Act and monetary reform and money and economics and our Main Street. And let's just take a look at the Main Street and see if you can see it. Here we go. Here we go. We're at the corner of, I think it's Crawford and Main and Norman. And I don't see the name of the cross street because we have a one-way Main Street. One of these days we're going to fix that. We're going to have two ways and have it fixed up where it's a little slower traffic and more regular traffic. And the Oklahoma Department of Transportation just got through paving our Main Street, and it is beautiful. And they're still not quite done with the trim work, but it's going to be great. So, hello there, Joyce Ward. Hey, where are you watching from? And here's the Rusty's Custard Factory. Just a couple of tables out here in front. There was people here just a minute ago. And then down the way is cafes and a couple of bars to the Blue Bonnet and the Red Brick, where you can get a beer. Maybe I should have stopped and bought a $2 beer instead of a waffle cone. But the waffle cone was good. So anyway, we have monetary reform that's getting underway. We're making calls to our congressmen from mainly from New York City and from here in Norman, Oklahoma, and from Cleveland, Ohio, and from Massachusetts, and we've got someone that's going to be on live a little later today from New York City, my friend Sue, who is a real expert on monetary reform and the NEAT Act. In fact, she's one of the first persons that was able to explain it in a way that I could understand, and that I first got a grasp of how money is created. Did you know that all our money is created with debt? All our money, virtually all of it, is created by the commercial banks in the United States. So guess who gets the money? The friends of the bankers, the ones that qualify for what is good for them. And what's good for a banker isn't necessarily what's good for us ordinary people. In fact, it's not. We need Medicare for all. We need a guaranteed annual income. We need transportation and health care and education and just money in our pockets. And we can do that with the NEAT Act. It's a way to create sovereign money. Guess what? It's been done before, like in Athens, and we're talking ancient Athens, and in Rome during the Republic, building streets and facilities and viaducts and water and sewage and you know, they had, I don't remember the name of their currency, but they just took a piece of a metal that was not a desirable metal and stamped it and said that's worth a drachma. And that's what we're going to do in essence. See, the bankers do that now. They put a digit, they put a dollar sign in your account and call it that, and call it that many dollars, and it created out of nothing. I just say, when I stopped here at Rusty's custard factory to get a custard. I ordered it. I pulled out my credit card, put it in the machine, and the money that paid for this custard that I had just now was created just now. It wasn't in the bank. It wasn't in existence. It did not exist anywhere. And it paid for my custard. Now, when I pay my bill at the end of the month, that money will be extinguished. It will go away. Sounds kind of strange, doesn't it? It's all double entry bookkeeping entries. And the banks got the privilege to coin money when in 1778 Hamilton and land speculator George Washington got together and decided to take the power to create money away from the where it was put in the Constitution from Congress. Congress has the power in the Constitution to create money. They took it away from that and delegated it to their friends, who became our first bankers. Did you know that the colonies had no banks? The colonies issued their own money, and the Continentals, and that were backed by nothing, and actually became almost worth nothing. But then later on, they recovered their value, and all the debt instruments that the colonies issued. Hamilton and Washington knew that Congress was going to buy up these securities that had become worth nothing from the merchants and the farmers and the workmen who had invested their life savings in them, going to buy them off of them for almost nothing. And Congress was going to make these, and Congress did make these worth their face value. And guess what they did with those securities? The money that they got from selling those securities at face value, they formed the first national bank of the United States. Our banking in the United States has been a fraud from the very beginning. And what we want to do with the NEAT Act, we want to take the power to create money away from the commercial bankers. We want to nationalize the Federal Reserve and put it in the Treasury so we have control over what the Federal Reserve does. Federal Reserve now is owned by the member banks. And we mostly don't even know who owns the member banks because they're mostly privately sold corporations. And so that is the NEAT Act. It was introduced into Congress in 2011 in a bill that's named the H.R. 2990 of the 112th Congress, and it was introduced into Congress by former Congressman from Cleveland, Ohio, Dennis Kucinich. You've probably heard his name. He's been on the Green Party ticket for president, and has been quite involved. And there goes my communist friend down there. We've got a full-fledged communist here in Norman. He's a good friend, and quite an eccentric guy. So anyway, we have started a phone campaign. You go on my Facebook page, and you can see some of the videos. They're kind of getting buried deep now, but if you get to my YouTube page, you can find them. And I'll post the YouTube page link in the comments, and so you can go there and see some of the things. And we're mostly slackers here in Norman. I've retired. I've been retired since I was turned 62, and I'm 76 now. and have used my time to promote the NEAT Act. I found out about it at Occupy Wall Street. About the same time my friend Harrison Schultz found out about the NEAT Act. In fact, he is going to be with the lady today at the New School for Social Research in New York City, and she's going to do a video call to her congressman and from New York City, and you'll get to see that a little bit later on my Facebook page. I hope that all gets done. But he found out about the NEAT Act from a friend of Sue's who came to Occupy Wall Street. Harrison was one of the organizers of Occupy Wall Street, and Donald handed Harrison a flyer explaining the NEAT Act, and Harrison looked at it and thought, heck yeah, this is what we need. And he's been finishing up his PhD at the New School since then, has finished it. He's now Dr. Harrison Schultz, and that and $2 will get you a ice cream cone here at Rusty's Custard Factory. And, so anyway, he learned about it there. I learned about it when I watched an economics teach-in from Occupy Chicago. I have grandchildren in Chicago. I thought I'd better pay attention to what was happening there, and they had this teach-in, and the first teacher was one that bored me to death, just like most of my teachers at the University of Oklahoma did, and back in the 1960s. Although we had better economics teaching back then than they got now, much better. And so the teacher got up and was a little round guy named Zarlinga, and he had written a book called The Lost Science of Money. Lost Science of Money, look it up. You can even find it online in a PDF form for free. And The Lost Science of Money by Zarlinga. And look it up, take a look at it. It is the most comprehensive history of money ever written. And would you believe it? The mainstream economists that we have now, they don't consider money or credit in their formulas, in their equations. No, they do not consider money or credit, and that's going to change. There are some heretic economists out there that are about the business of changing that, and one of them is named Steve Keen, K-E-E-N, professor of economics at Kingston University in London. He lives in the Netherlands, and he's from Australia, 60 years old, and I've been learning a lot off of Steve. And he considered the work that Zarlinga did with this book to be the most comprehensive history of money that's ever been written. And we have a economist in Germany and one in Japan who take part in the American Monetary Institute conferences every year. So anyway, let's see if I can change this around here. I've got the screen is so dark I can't see it. So, and the sun is so bright. So anyway, I was going to turn the camera back around so you could see me again. But anyway, this is my little talk on economics and the NEAT Act and creation of sovereign money. That sovereign money will be created without debt and without taxing anyone. And we can do all the things that we need to do. Medicare, guaranteed annual income, which will give people an opportunity to be themselves. They won't have to put up with a boss that's in a work situation that's bad. And we're talking $40,000 a year. We're not talking just a basic income. We're talking $40,000 a year, which is still less than the middle class income. In the United States, you got to be making between $56,000 and $156,000 to be in the middle class. That's per year. So anyway, that's my little talk. We can do this. Congress has the power to do that, and if Hamilton and Washington hadn't have taken it away from us, we'd be a far different country than we are now. So anyway, bye now, and I'll see if I can turn this off. I am not seeing what I need to see. Can't see my screen. Let's see if I can get up here and get into a darker place and see my screen. See, there's another little view down Main Street. Let's just come over here under a shade tree. Oh yeah. There we go. Now, we're still live. I'll punch the finish button. Bye now. I'm glad that you got online, and talk to you again soon. Bye now.